or myth. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it's so common in medicine today. You go to the doctor, especially dermatologists, and you're told avoid the sunshine because sunshine gives you an increased risk for skin cancers, right? We hear this all the time. It's probably one of the most common pieces of medical nonsense that ever spewed forth from the mouth of a doctor. And I say that with all seriousness. It's dangerous and it's life-threatening, that advice. Now, you know, some of you may be saying, well, I'm ginger, I'm really pale, I get burned really easy in the sun. Even those of you who are very pale should be getting sunshine within reason, within the toleration of the limits of your skin. But to say that sunshine causes skin cancer, in my opinion, should be construed or considered as malpractice, because there's so many benefits to sunshine. Your body can't survive without it, can't function without it, can't regulate hormones without it, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. So, some of the myths about sunshine. Number one is that sunshine is dangerous. Sunburning is dangerous, sunshine is not. It's kind of like you can drown in water, but water's not dangerous, right? There is a limit, but you need it to survive. It's the same thing with sunshine. Sunshine causes cancer is a myth. Sunburning can increase your risk of cancer. Sunshine actually reduces your risk of cancer. And then the third is that sun avoidance prevents cancer. This also is a myth, and that we know where people get their skin cancers. Many of the skin cancers that people get diagnosed with, the vast majority of them actually occur on areas of the skin that get the least amount of sun exposure. So sun avoidance is not helping you. Slathering up with toxic sunscreens that contain carcinogens for the phobia that's something that you should avoid or protect yourself from is rather ridiculous. Any SPF, any sunscreen greater than 8, you know, those numbers, that SPF number that you see on a sunscreen, generally, you know, nowadays it's hard to find them much lower than 15. What I'm telling you is anything greater than 8 will inhibit vitamin D production by your skin. About 90% of the production that your skin could have is inhibited directly as a result of sunscreen. Now, ladies, if you wear cosmetics, you should also know that most of your cosmetics have an SPF somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 20. So if you've got, you know, cosmetics that you're wearing on your face every day, where do we make the vast majority of our vitamin D? On our face. So if you're slathering up, you know, SPF cosmetics, you are reducing your body's ability to produce vitamin D from the skin in your face. And if you're wearing lotion, a lot of the lotions also contain SPF, then now your arms, potentially your legs, any other areas you're trying to hydrate your skin with that lotion are also potentially you're blocking out vitamin D production, which is one of the major benefits of sunshine, which we'll get to in just a minute, but I want to bring that up. So if you're wearing these things, you're reducing your capacity to get access to one of the most fundamental and most important vitamins known to man, with some of the most health protective and health generating benefits. So let's talk about some of the benefits of sunshine overall. As I mentioned a moment ago, vitamin D, and we'll dive more into that in just a minute. So if we look at just what sun helps us do through the skin, which is interesting. So the skin, when solar radiation hits your skin, there's a type of cholesterol in your skin. It's called 7-dehydrocholesterol. You know, the bad stuff, right? Doctors also demonize cholesterol and tell you the evils of cholesterol, but cholesterol is the precursor to all steroids in the body, including estrogen, progesterone, guys, testosterone, but also cholesterol, or rather also vitamin D. So the skin contains a form of cholesterol that when the sunlight hits it produces vitamin D. And again, that's where if you're wearing sunscreens, you're going to minimize your exposure to vitamin D. Melatonin, the eyes. When light hits the eyes from the sun, it signals the brain to produce melatonin. Now, what is melatonin good for? This is especially true when we get morning sunshine. So the more sunlight you catch in the morning, generally speaking, between the hours of about 9 and 11, those hours have been studied to show us that you'll produce better and more melatonin through the course of your day if you get that morning time sunlight exposure. Now, a lot of you live in climates, where sometimes that's a little bit more challenging. And one of the things that you can look at doing is you can do sun lamps, which actually produce UV light. You can also do what are called light boxes. Now, light boxes and sun lamps are not the same thing. A light box, generally what you're looking for is something that has 10,000 illuminations or more, oftentimes referred to as LUX. This will help this aspect of producing melatonin, whereas the sun lamp will help your cholesterol in your skin turn into vitamin D. But again, we need both. So ideally, you're getting adequate sunshine to make this happen. But again, that timing of sunlight, especially in the morning, helps with melatonin. Now, one of the things that melatonin does is it helps us to make serotonin. Now, aside from, we talked about sleep a few weeks ago, and we talked about melatonin being very critical for helping the brain shut off and actually fall asleep and getting that deep, restful period of sleep that helps us heal and repair. You need melatonin to do that. So this is all from sunshine, folks. The light helps your brain produce the hormone that allows you to get deep, restful sleep. But also we take and we convert melatonin into serotonin. And there have been studies that show that that same time framing of early morning light improves serotonin production. Now, this is free, right? Sunshine is free. It doesn't cost you anything to go outside. Again, you have to get past the myth that sunshine is dangerous for you. But so many avoid the sun for fear of that skin cancer component. And remember that serotonin, what does this do? As a hormone, it's one of the things that staves off depression. Or let's just put it like this. SAD, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And so when you're making adequate quantities of serotonin, again, there's a whole class of medications called SSRIs that doctors prescribe, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, to stop depression and seasonal affective disorder. But in reality, we have a free antidepressant within the sunshine itself. It doesn't cost you anything, where these SSRIs can really, not only can they hit your pocketbook, but they don't come without their list of problems and side effects either. We also know, melatonin, serotonin, we also know that sunlight changes gene expression in the adrenal glands. It helps help your body adapt to stress, and this has its impact on cortisol. So we talked about adrenal function too recently, and so you might want to go back and review that show. So again, sunshine does all three: melatonin, serotonin, cortisol. And then one of the other things that sunshine helps us to produce naturally are endorphins. And these endorphins are chemicals that help us feel happier, right? Help us chemically feel good, right? The same thing that when people talk about exercise creates endorphins and helps people feel better, it helps them pull them out of depression and helps them feel a general sense of well-being overall. Sunlight helps with this too. So again, we're talking about how many people in this country, just in the US alone, are taking antidepressants. There's tens of millions doing that, right? How many of them are taking sleep aids? Okay, how many people are affected by sleep disorder? How many people are vitamin D deficient? And how many people are depressed and sad and not happy about their life? And how many people are overstressed, right? And here we have one therapeutic that's 100% free. So no complaining about cost tonight. Nobody can say your advice is too expensive. This is 100% free. All you have to do is go outside and bask in the glory of what is sunlight, right? So all these effects. Now, we're not even to this last one, this next one, which is immune regulation. We know that sunshine exposure helps our immune system do its job properly. So many of you dealing with autoimmune disease, Again, the therapeutic benefit of sunshine, I cannot overemphasize this enough. This is why sunshine is considered to be one of the 7 non-negotiable behaviors when it comes to good health, meaning you can't avoid the sun and expect to be healthy. If you do, you're going to be disappointed if you avoid the sun. So let's talk about some of the things that benefits of sunshine. Again, protection against heart disease, diabetes. So that, if we look at all-cause mortality in the U.S., according to the experts, heart disease is number 1, cancer is number 2, and technically autoimmune disease should really be number 1, but they divide autoimmune disease up into 100 smaller diseases, and so it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. Heart disease, they clump them all together. Cancers, they clump them all together. Right? Actually, number 3 is not on this list, but it's medicine. So using prescription drugs is one of the top causes of death in the U.S. About 250,000 people every year die from the appropriate use of medicine. And then you have diabetes. Diabetes is a major cause of quality of life loss, huge expenditure, and huge death rates. Blindness, diabetes because it causes heart disease, right? And then, of course, autoimmune disease, which is vastly linked to sunshine. We know that because of vitamin D's role in the immune system. Vitamin D plays a regulatory role with how your immune system perceives the environment. Vitamin D deficiency can increase the risk for the development of autoimmune disease, including gluten reactivity and celiac disease. So again, all these are benefits of sunshine. The freest medicine on the planet. All it requires is that you go outside. Hey, don't forget to check out the rest of the series right here. Make sure you hit subscribe below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.